I'm going to talk to you today about how you can go about choosing a lender. We're going to call this acronym HOME, right? Because you're looking to buy a house to make it a home. And we're going to talk about the helpfulness of your lender, the organization, or if your lender is organized, the mindfulness of your lender as it pertains to you, and then the offerings, the excellent product offering, and also knowledge. What I mean by this helpfulness piece, or the H in home, is this: you do not want to deal with someone that has commission breath. Unfortunately, a lot of us that are in sales or service-based type industries, that your income is tied to your performance at the end of a service. Unfortunately, some folks have commission breath. And as a result of that, the helpfulness piece that really benefits you as a consumer too often gets pushed to the side. So you want to make sure that your a professional of choice, your lender, is not one that has that commission breath, but one that is very helpful. How would you know? How do you know if someone's helpful? You got to go with your gut instinct first and foremost. But that aside, were your questions answered fully? Okay, because you don't know what you don't know. And I always want you to make sure you're asking questions, and you ask until the time that you really have an understanding. In this process, buying a home is typically the largest transaction that you'll get into as an adult. So you can't go into it embarrassed if you don't understand a concept. So, is your lending professional, is he or she answering your questions fully and completely to your understanding? Secondly, did they provide scenarios with the questions? I don't know about you, but I'm a visual learner first. Then I can read, and then a combination. It's kind of like a gumbo, right? So if you could give me a good example and a couple of options around the context or the information that you're trying to share with me, the more the better. Second step, or the letter O of home, and how to choose or pick the right lender for you, I call this organization. And the reason I wanted to address this is because too many times I hear of horror stories of, the branding was there, but once I decided to do business with the person, the organization was horrible. There were no systems in place as far as not just the initial application, but once I'm in house, how do we go about this process? So systems and processes are very important. And so you might be asking, well, how do I know if someone has a system or process? Pay attention from the hello. How did you come about this person? A lot of times in this transaction that we're dealing with, or that you would be dealing with, here, let me open that up a little bit. Let's do it like that. In this transaction, a lot of times you're going to be referred someone by someone else, somebody that has bought some trust buckets with you, or just a random realtor that you ran into. Here are some of the things that you can look out for systems. If they tell you they're going to get back with you in a certain period of time, do they do that? If they tell you they're going to communicate with you via text or email, do they do that? More importantly, did they ask you how do you want to be communicated with? That's in step one, right? But step two, how are they going about the system? Do they explain to you the current step that you're on, and not to overwhelm you, but at least one step into the future along the timeline from you saying hello to the loan officer to you getting your closing documents and your keys at closing? Are they keeping you informed? I guess what I'm trying to say is, are they being proactive? Okay. Is their system proactive to keep you ahead of what's going on? And so by the time you ask that question, if you're dealing with someone that has a great system and a great process, you'd be like, man, they already answered that question. So these are some of the things that you're looking for as it pertains to organization. Number three, or the M in the system of home, of finding and choosing and picking the right lender, the mindfulness of the lender. Mindful in what way, Robert? Glad you asked. Do they understand your particular scenario? Are you a active duty serviceman that's getting ready to PCS, right? Or are you a elderly person downsizing? Are you newlywed? Are you getting divorced? Are they mindful of your scenario, or are you just a number? So you really want someone to be mindful of your specific situation, okay? So that you can determine if this is the person that you want to move forward with. And again, you might be asking, how do I know that? You ask questions. How many VA loans have you done? How many blank have you done that fits my scenario? And just listen. Anyone that has reviews lets you know that they're organized, they have a system. And the folks that they've dealt with feel compelled to be able to leave that review. And so you should be able to lean and glean on those things to back up and to solidify your loan officer's mindfulness based upon your specific situation. Mindfulness, very important. So as we get ready to wrap it up, the last step that I want to talk to you about is the lender, your loan officer's product knowledge as well as their product offering. Very important, because as the mindfulness and the detail to your specific situations comes to the fore, then they need to take that information and plug it into the right products and or investors. Here's what I'm not saying. Uh, I'm not hating on anybody that's young, new to the game, because you have to start somewhere. But they have to be organized, right? You have to have a system. You have to have an organization and a process in which you have someone to go and get those answers from. Because at the end of the day, man, this is your money. You're the one that's paying. So all about young blood. You need young folks coming into the game, but who are their OGs, if you will? Who do they lean on whenever there's a question or a situation that might be outside of the scope or beyond their capabilities at this time? That's what I'm saying. You're dealing with the acumen of the loan officer, their ability to convey different scenarios based upon your specific scenario, loan products, and then have different avenues, different investors to get that funding for you because of your specific situation. I'm gonna wrap up here and let's just go over the 4 steps that are tied to our acronym HOME, HOME, right? And so your lender needs to be helpful. They need to be organized, have a system, have a process. They need to be mindful of you and your specific situation. They need to have excellent products to fit different scenarios and situations, as well as be very knowledgeable and understand how those products work via guidelines and things of that nature. And then have the investors to be able to consummate, finalize those things by funding the loan. So with all of that said, guys, here's the deal, man. Schedule a consultation. Reach out. Would love to talk to you, listen to what it is that you're trying to achieve as it pertains to residential real estate, 1 to 4 units. My time is up, but I thank you for yours. Hey guys, let's be good to one another. Let grace abound. And until the next time, peace. Y'all have a great weekend.